Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to create confetti using sprites. You can see the result in front of you, so we'll do it from the very beginning. I'll show you how to add a button, how to make sure that every time you click on it you fire confetti, and we'll do it step by step. Now I myself used this effect in a couple of games I developed recently. At the same time I do want to mention that there are many ways to achieve this confetti effect. One way that is actually much more popular for confetti effect is using particles. The reason I mention it is for you to be aware that there are multiple options and eventually it's only your decision what to use in your game. But again, I myself really like the sprites way, and this is what I'm going to focus on in this video. Okay, so let's start. So the first thing we'll do is to add a button, and the only thing this button will do is to basically drop confetti. Now implementation wise, I'm not doing here anything special. I'm simply using a texture button. You can use any other way you prefer. As long as you can click something and it will drop confetti, that should be completely fine. Okay, perfect. We have our button. The next thing we want to do is to make sure that every time we click on it, something happens. And for that purpose, we're going to do two things. One is to create a script, and the second is in that script, we're going to use something called signal. For those who don't know what a signal is, you can think about it as a messaging system used to notify other nodes when something happens. In our case, I'm going to use pressed. Pressed will tell us every time we press on the button. And the only thing we'll do in the meantime, because we don't have our confetti logic coded yet, is just print confetti. This way we'll basically be able to tell that the button is configured properly and also our signal is working. Now let's make sure that we save the scene and let's go and test it out. Okay, now press on it and perfect. You can see that it works. It prints confetti exactly like we wanted. And now we can proceed to the next step. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is to define our pool of confettis. We have a couple of confetti pieces that I've prepared in advance. As you can see, I have a yellow one and a pink one and also a blue piece. And for the purpose of this exercise, you can use as many confetti pieces as you would like. If you wonder to yourself, okay, I don't have any pieces, what can I do? Then there are many solutions for that. So the first obvious solution is you can go ahead and draw some. You can use Illustrator for that, or Procreate, or even free alternatives like GIMP. And don't worry about it, it can be very simple shapes. It doesn't have to be anything sophisticated. You can basically go ahead and simply copy what I'm doing here. Another very valid solution you can use is using AI tools, so basically things like Grok and ChatGPT. Those can easily generate for you the pieces and then you can simply download and use them. And one last thing I'm going to suggest is using sites with free sprites. There are many of those. Those are great. You can definitely go ahead and use them. Just make sure to inspect the license because sometimes it can be used for commercial uses and sometimes it can't be. Okay, so now that you have a couple of confetti textures, let's go ahead and start writing our code. First thing we'll do is just loading our confetti textures. So you're going to specify all the textures you have. Again, you can have the number I have, or you can have more confettis. So 5, 10, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you specify all of them. The next thing we're going to do is to define how many confetti we want to drop. So do we want to drop 50 pieces, 100 pieces? It's up to you really. Don't worry about it too much, you can always change it later. I'm going to go with 120. And the next thing we're going to do is to start iterating over each piece. Now for each piece that we're going to iterate over, we need to do a couple of things. The first thing we're going to do is to create a sprite for each piece. A sprite is basically one of the textures that we defined above. Now after creating a new sprite, let's go ahead and make sure that we add it to our scene. Now a very important thing to do every iteration is to make sure that we choose the confetti piece to use. And again, you may have 5 confetti pieces, 10, maybe more. This is why our implementation is going to be based on randomness. So we'll choose every iteration a random confetti piece. This will give us this nice effect of a confetti with random pieces and colors, and it will look great. The great thing about Godot is that it provides us with a lot of built-in functions and classes. Now one of them is the random number generator, and this is what we'll use in order to choose a random confetti piece. Now because we don't want for it to generate just any number, we're going to give it a range. Now the range we want is from 0 to the size of confetti textures list. When you code it, make sure that you write 0, but when you write the size of the list, you reduce from it 1. Now the reason is because in Godot, in almost any other programming language, lists are starting from index 0. So to better explain it, this one will be 0, this one will be 1, and so it continues. Okay, so we already wrote a couple of lines. Let's go ahead and play and see what we achieved so far. Okay, so if we press on play, you can see that the confetti are appearing in the default position. As you can see, they're also quite huge. So let's go ahead and fix both position and the size of the confetti. I'm going to start with the position of the confetti. Now, when we talk about the position, we talk about X and Y, and the Y in our case is going to be fixed. So we are going to drop all of the confetti from the same height. Now the X position is going to play differently because we want to drop the confetti from different X positions. And for that, we are again going to use some randomness. Our range is going to be between 0 and the entire screen width. To get the screen size, I'm going to use a built-in function. And that's it. We're basically done with the position and we can move ahead to the scale. Okay, let me just fix that. Now for the scale, all you need to do is to set the scale attribute, which is also a vector 2. You can definitely use a fixed value and that's completely fine. But what I recommend is to also use randomness here. Don't worry too much about the exact range, you can always play with it later. Once you're done with defining the range, don't forget to go ahead and replace the fixed number with the variable. And looks like we have another small issue here, so let's go ahead and fix the function name. And that's it, that's how you change position and scale. So now let's go ahead and test it out. Okay, looks good. So it's in different X positions, it's much smaller, and you can see that it's in the same height. Okay, and the last part of this tutorial, what is left to do is to animate the drop of the confetti. And the way we're going to do it is using tweens. For those who are not familiar with tweens, think about it as a general purpose animation that Godot provides you. Now I know that animations can be intimidating, especially for beginners, but don't worry, tweens are very easy to use. The first thing we're going to do is to create a tween object. All you need to do for that is just to write this short line. Next, let's go ahead and actually use it. So the first animation we want to deal with is moving the confetti position. For this, we can use the tween property function. We're basically going to specify that what we would like to animate is the sprite of our confetti piece. And more specifically, we would like to move the position of the piece. Next, we're going to specify the final position of our confetti piece. You can do it with one value, but I'm going to specify the original position and add to it a vector. Last thing left to do is to specify the duration of the animation. And that's it, it's that easy. And all is left to do is for us to test it out. As you can see, it works, the confetti is moving, but probably not in the way that we're expecting it to move. So let's go ahead and use a method that we already used a couple of times so far, and it's randomness. Instead of this fixed vector, we're going to replace it with a variable. And this variable is going to use the random method that we used already a couple of times so far. Note that we would like to use a different behavior for the X and the Y. For the X position, the confetti can drop in the left direction or the right direction, but for the Y position, it can only drop down. For this reason, the X position, as you can see, have a negative number and also a positive number, but for the Y position, I'm only going to use positive numbers. Now, if we'll go and test it out again, you can see that it looks much better. You can actually go ahead and apply a quick improvement where the confetti will start to drop outside of the camera. One clear thing that isn't happening right now is that the confetti isn't fading, so let's go ahead and add this effect as well. And this time we're going to run the tween a little bit differently. We're going to run it at the same time as the currently defined tween. After the parallel function, it's again the tween property function. But this time, because we want the confetti to fade out, we're going to use the alpha attribute and not the position. And that's all we need. We can go ahead and test it out. Okay, so it looks good, but it fades out immediately. Let's go ahead and change it. This can be done easily by using the setDelay function. And here we have it, our confetti effect. Now, one important thing that we didn't do, and it's very important that we'll do, is to actually free the objects that we are creating. So first of all, I'm going to little bit drop the delay. And then after all the tweens completed, after it faded out, let's go ahead and free the object of the confetti that we created. This is best if you would like to avoid any performance issues with your game. So now let's go ahead and test it out again. And it looks great. Now it's not only that they are fading out, but we also free their memory. And the last thing I want to do for no reason at all is just to add a color rect for some background. You really don't have to follow me on this one. I'm just adding it because I think it looks much better on some colorful background. I'll mention that we're basically done with this tutorial. I really appreciate you taking the time and watching this video. I definitely want to encourage you to take this basic confetti effect that we created and develop it further. There are many things you can do with it. You can add an explosive effect to it, or you can add audio, which adds a lot to the effect. Or you can start with something more basic of adding additional shapes, for example. And we're now officially done. Thank you again for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments on this effect. Do you prefer the particles way? Do you prefer this one? I'm really interested in reading your opinions on that. Thank you again for watching.